Hey there, welcome viewers. Peter again. We have been carrying on the conversation on social foundations and perspective of law. Well, we are going through the legal theories and we started with the school of thoughts. We have talked about the first school of thought, the second school of thought, the third school of thought, and today I would like to discuss about the fourth school of thought, legal realism and American realist legal thinking emerges in the recent years, in the recent past. Actually, in the middle of the 20th century, around that time, that this kind of class of thinkers in the jurisprudential movements brought about the realism school of thought. The Anglo American thinking, which embraces legal positivism, adds another understanding, and that is how law is related to political powers. In the American realist approach, law and politics cannot be divorced, cannot be separated. So, for us to understand the law or to define the law, we must start from the authority, the sovereignty, but most importantly, the political power underlying the legal nature, our law. Well, what is legal realism? I would like to start with one who is more qualified in the field among many others, like Roscoe Pound. Dean Pound, a legal scholar, is one of the American jurists that propounded law as a social engineering. And in his understanding, he regards law as a regulatory mechanism or a tool that makes the society move forward. Well, alongside this thinking in line of thought, we have Ronald Dworkin. Professor Dworkin, in his observation, explanation of law and justice as practiced in America, gives us a better understanding of the legal realism, especially when he talks about the idea of liberalism. We know America, of all places, has got political progressiveness and liberal thinking, and that is seen as well in the Statue of Liberty and Pursuit for Happiness. And America has embraced this so much. But what is so ideal in the legal realism is the fact that we see law in the work of the judiciary. It is the judiciary handling matters dealing with law. I can only tell what law is if I see the work of judges in court, the Supreme Court, the federal courts, and also the lower courts in the rank. But as well, the advocates, how they argue matters in court, how such matters are handled, and how the justice system is woven together. This is still back to the man-made law, but most importantly also the judge-made law, or stare decisis, or stare decisis, that means stand by the ruling, by the decision made by the court, the opinions made by judges, the bench, what the courts do. This is what explains to this school of thought what the law is all about. This time round, it is about the judiciary and what the judiciary is doing about it. Then alongside or parallel to American realism there's also Scandinavian realism. The Scandinavian realism is not more of the political power embedded in the understanding of the law, but is more of looking also at the social reality. That law is concerned with social reality, our human relationships, how we do businesses, how we do things, human behavior in the society, which also relates the understanding of law with the understanding of psychology. So the psychology of the court, the psychology of the law. So law has something so much to do with our social reality. And in that case again, agreeing or accepting the legal positivism stand, legal realism takes it a notch higher by considering some other areas that law cannot afford to lose. This makes the understanding of the law from the realist perspective become, in a wider perspective, an element of social engineering. And that is again putting law closer or in the understanding of the modern world, the modern society, law, science, and technology, law in medicine, law in inventions, in development studies, law in the technology, law in our societal activities. So there is no easy way of divorcing law from the social realities that law works within. So legal realism explained to us by the very, very thinkers, proponents of that classification of law, makes it a better tool to deal with matters case by case, whether they are criminal cases, criminal offenses type of cases, civil offenses type of cases, issues dealing with property law, issues concerning the contracts and the general operations of law. It is good in this kind of thinking to see that the definition of law is very huge, and it involves a lot of already developed knowledge from different schools of thought. We are not saying one school of thought is better than the other. We are not doing this kind of comparative analysis right now. What I submit that is very, very necessary at this point is to see law being founded within different groups of thinking and different movements of jurisprudence, and also how the definition of law has been handled by both scholars and academics, by like thinking minds that have put such debates on principle and giving law its logical meaning, how it operates. Now, the realists argue from the perspective of the activities of law, that is, the judicial activities, and how the court handles matters of law and matters of justice. This is a synopsis of the schools of thought in line with the study of social foundations and the perspective of law. Thank you so much. I remind you to subscribe so that we get encouraged to carry on this online lecture that can benefit many people who don't get chance to go to the universities, and also don't get chance to look at other documents. Thank you so much, and